How's everybody doing tonight? On this Saturday night, this chiller night. Let me get in here real quick, folks, and share the video. And then we'll start up. Page isn't visible. Huh, wonder why. That's odd. Are you guys seeing my video? This is strange. I'm being told that the page isn't visible. It was visible earlier. All right, we got to fix this, folks. Oh, boy. It says it's published. All right, someone, let me put the chat on here. We'll start here in just a second. Oh, we'll be about a minute late. For some reason, my the Facebook page is telling me that it's not published. Why that's happening, I have no idea. I have not a clue. That's a problem. That's a problem. On here, it's showing that it's published. That is so weird. Well, maybe when we open this up, we'll hear. Oh, Brian says I see it. Okay. Well, let me pull the chat page up, and as soon as I get that up, we'll begin with the show. That's odd. I don't know why it was saying that. It's the 14-year curse of Chiller. All right, come on now. Here we go. Good evening. Here we go. All right, let's get this started. Hey everybody, this is Brian Hogue. Welcome to the Chiller Night Live pre-show where, hey, tonight, as you can see, we're very decorative, very festive, frighteningly festive. I can't say it, so we won't go with that. We're very festive tonight. And this is the 14-year anniversary of Jack Shadow being a horror host. And that was through Sleepy Hollow Theater, Chiller Night Theater, and Chiller Chat. They've all been going on for, well, this has been going on for 14 years. Not the pre-show, but the Chiller, the Jack Shadow hosting. So that's pretty cool. My stepson Brenton and his girlfriend Sierra, they got me these balloons. It actually says 14. The balloons are 14. and a congratulations balloons behind me with the balloons off to the side. So I want to thank them and give them a shout out for doing that. And of course with Ava for being with me all this time since the very beginning of this whole thing. So we've got a lot of wow, a lot of chats already. So let me scroll down. Let me pull up the big page. Tracy says, hello, Brian. Hey, Tracy, thanks for joining us. Tracy says, found you. Here I am. Let's see, everyone's saying hello to each other, saying that they can see. Condi says, good evening, Brian. Good evening, Condi. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. Let me scroll down here a little bit. Everyone's saying hello. Salutations are being slung at each other. So, Glam says, evening all. Brian is styling and profiling. The old Ric Flair. In the old black and white. Yes, yes. Woo. David says, good evening. Champagne popped and poured. Happy 14 chilling years. Thank you. All right. Tracy says, miss watching your videos. Oh, well, thank you. Well, we'll soon, we'll have some more videos here. We didn't stop. We just got a lot going on, but we'll get back at it. Let's see. Let me here. Let's see. Brad says, it's a Chiller Night pre-show of Brian Hogue starring Brian Hogan. Now, happy 14th birthday, Jack Shadow. Okay, we'll go with that. So, Chiller Chat and Chiller Night. Here's Brian. What's on tonight, Brian? Well, let me show you here in just but mere moments. Tom says this place ain't usually this crowded at the beginning. I know, this is really cool. I can't even keep up. I know there were some other chats on the first page, and I pulled up another one, so that's what I'm reading now. So Jason says, styling and profiling the way that Brian can only do best. Well, thank you, Jason. Thanks for joining us. Tom says, I bet he has cargo shorts on with that tux. I have. Yeah, I'm a jeans and cowboy boots kind of guy, so that's all I'm gonna say. Let your imaginations go with that. Darren says, Chiller Night crew, rise up, rise! All right, you chiller maniacs, you. John says it's 8 o'clock, time again for Chiller Night pre-shows, celebrating 14 years and counting. This is Crozak the Grand, and here's our host, Brian Hogue. Thank you, Crozak the Grand. Bonus says, thank you, Brian, for giving us 14 wonderful years. We want 14 more. Well, thank you very much. Paul says, thanks for 14. Thank you. And now, Paul, now, listen, here's the schedule. And Paul had asked last week for City of the Dead. So, tonight at 9 o'clock, that is our feature show for tonight, City of the Dead. With, of course, Christopher Lee. 10:30. The movie is Night of the Blood Beast. 11:45, the movie is Samson versus the Vampire Women. And 1:30 in the morning, for you night owls, Killers from Space. So there you have it. There is our chiller lineup. Take note of the times. Or if you're just kind of sitting there watching and not too concerned about it, the shows do play basically back to back. There might be a few minutes in between a few of those. But here we are. That is the schedule for tonight. We are bebopping right along here. 14 years ago, now I can't say on this specific night, on the 7th of May, but I'll put it this way. 14 years ago, the first Saturday of May, which was May 3rd? Yes, May 3rd, 2008. A show came on a local TV station in Oil City in Franklin, Pennsylvania. The station at the time was called Venango Video, and the show at that time was titled Sleepy Hollow Theater. It featured a new horror host of the area called Jack Shadow, and Jack featured House on Haunted Hill, starring, of course, the late great Vincent Price. So that was the kickoff to Jack Shadow being a horror host, and then Aura the Witch, and then later on Elle Von Nock joined, and then we've had various reoccurring characters over the years, but my wife Ava has been with us from the very, very beginning, and so she. I just now thought of this. She actually hosted a. She's actually hosted a couple of the Chiller Chats back, way back when. That's how long we've been doing this. Back in 2008. That show started on the very second week that Sleepy Hollow Theater was playing. So, and then I think Samantha came along about a year after we started. Bonehead says, tonight is a festive night for the whole Chiller Night crew and for our fearless, no pun intended, leader, Mr. Brian Hogue and Miss Ava. Well, thank you, Bonehead. I appreciate it. Paul says, thanks for that, brother. I gave you a ring last week. Did you get the number? 571 area code. I might have. Did it change since the last time? Because if I don't recognize the number, I let it keep ringing. So, but I'll take a look at that. Tracy said, mowed grass first time by ride mower, 37 years. Oh, yeah. Glenn says, cheers, well done. Jack doesn't look a day over 13. Tom says, was it called Sleepy Hollow Chat back in 2008? It was not. It was called Chiller Chat. Yeah, it's kind of weird because the original name Sleepy Hollow Theater wasn't. I don't know. After we did that for 7 years under that title. Now here's what happened. I got with Bill Chilly Billy Cardell at that time. Now we're going into 2015, the beginning of 2015. I got with the man himself, the legendary Chilly Billy, Bill Cardell, who hosted Chiller Theater out of Pittsburgh for from the 60s into to the 80s. Very immensely popular show. Aired on WPXI, and I used to watch it every Saturday night, and that's my inspiration for the show that I'm doing. Now I got with Mr. Cardell, but he insisted I call him Chilly, so I will here. So Chilly, I got with Chilly, and I went over this whole, the idea of Chiller Night Theater. I said it's a similar name in homage of Chiller Theater. I said, are you okay with that? I wanted to go to him specifically with that, and he was more than happy to. And I invited him to be a guest on that very first episode of Chiller Night Theater. So, and we played that night. We played The Brain of Planet Arus, which was the original show, the first movie that was actually played on Chiller Theater back in 1962, I believe. So, but he was a guest on the show, and that, to kind of kick that off, was the night that the name of the show changed to Chiller Night Theater, and that was May 2nd of 2015. Again, the first Saturday of May. So that is the anniversary day. David says, how did you come up with Jack Shadow's name? Jack Shadow, the name is... It was kind of just, I was thinking Jack-o'-lantern, and Shadow because it seemed, dark and, sinister or something, I was trying to think of something that kind of sounded like the John Smith of horror. What do we call this guy? I don't think he had a name for the first couple weeks of the haunted house. See, it was a character originally, or maybe the first couple nights. Maybe I didn't have a specific name for him, but he was a character that originated in my haunted house, the House of Terror, back in 2006. So Jack's been around for a while. And let me tell you something. This ain't easy. I got the original costume. Let me put this up here. The original costume. That one right there. I got that back in 2005, and I still am wearing it. I don't wear it every single time because I do have... I have 3 different outfits for Jack Shadow, and that's one of them. But I'm telling you, that is quite a task for me to be able to still fit in that costume since from 2005. I don't always fit in that, but I can still get in the old thing. Let's see. Sheila says happy anniversary. Thank you, Sheila. Brad says, whoever thought that this show has gone? Now with social media like Facebook and Twitter and really advanced technology this day and age. Well, I think that the show is only going to, at least my intentions are, the show is going to evolve into, I'd like to see it evolve into a weekly live show. Whether I can get that to happen or not, we'll soon see. So we'll give it a good, honest effort, by golly. Let's see. Richard says, great to see you. Great channel, Jack Shadow. Ah, thank you very much. I appreciate that, Richard. Let's see. Paul says, hey, Brian, can you get syndicated after 14? I don't know. I've been trying. There are phases where I'll go very aggressively at it, but I can't keep up with it because of everything that I have going on, and it's just me as far as the marketing, promotion, and stuff like that, and sending it out. So just unless I could clone myself and get one or two more of me working at it. I just wish I could do more. Like I said, it feels like sometimes I'm juggling putting in chainsaws and just not getting anywhere. But this year, by golly, we're gonna get somewhere with it, because I'll be setting up the new set. I say new. It's not a new set. I shouldn't say new set. New location for the set this month. So that will be put up this month. I got a lot going on. I talked about that. I touched on that last week. And there's a lot going on. So, but that is in the works. It is in the planning. So I have to do a couple test runs on that to see if if I'm able to do a live show from that location. But we'll check it out. We're gonna try. That's all we can do is try. Diane says, congratulations, looking great. Well, thank you. Thank you, Diana. Thanks for joining us. Paul says, what about an Emmy? I don't know. Paul says, happy Mother's Day, Ava. Love, Paul. Very nice. Let's see. Terrence says, Brian, I saw we're all going to the World's Fair. I thought it was going to be a paranormal activity kind of horror, but it turned out to be a real-life internet social horror. 4 out of 5 stars. Oh, that, I think you mentioned that. Didn't you mention that last week? Okay. All right, so 4 out of 5 stars. Well, that sounds pretty good. All right, Brad says fingers crossed. All right, so well, there you have it. There's a little bit of the backstory, and that, of course, is our cast of characters. Jack, obviously, in the center, and then over here, Ava playing Aura the Witch, and of course Samantha Diener as Elle Von Mock. So there you go. There's the terrifying trio of Chiller Night Theater. Let's see. Last week I wanted to touch on something last week, and then I'll get back to all this right here. But last week, Jeff says, I first discovered your show back in early 2020, and I've been hooked ever since. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Yeah, back in early 2020, that was a strange time, obviously, for the world, not just for us, in our little slice of it. But I remember beforehand planning to do a live Chiller Night Theater every Friday. When we do the live ones, or the Friday Night Frights, where you are the virtual studio audience and get to see everything unedited and raw. All the glitches and mistakes, you get to see everything because you're the studio audience. So, but it was strange because I had already made the arrangements. I'd already said every Friday in March, Monster March. and then of course the big COVID hit, and now it was a strange time, of course, for the whole world. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know what was happening, of course, and it was a strange time. And I can only imagine if you were enjoyed watching the show, and if you were looking forward to seeing those on Friday nights, that might have given you a little bit of an escape and a little bit of time to not just see Jack Shadow in the show, but to interact with each other. And I think that connection was important, especially during the very early months of all this happening. So when you say early 2020, that I can't help but to go back, because that was a very strange time, and I did keep up with that. I wondered if I could, but yeah, we did it. So let's see. David says, "What are you drinking tonight, Brian? Better yet, what's Jack Shadow drinking?" Jack, now I'm drinking good old water. And Jack, this is just a prop drink because Jack Shadow is drinking it as soon as I'm done. He'll be taking it up to Castle Shadow, and I don't dare touch his glass or anything in his glass, especially that eye. But no, I'm sure he'll be sipping on a martini, and I'll be drinking a lot more boring of a beverage. But what are you guys having tonight? What are you guys having? Let's see. Porta de Quesne. I'm sorry. I know I'm not getting that right. But thanks for joining us tonight. He or she? Okay. I'm watching on YouTube. Last week after the pre-show, I did not see the movies. Is there a link? Watch tonight's feature. I'm glad you brought that up. It's not on this. It's not on here. Where you can go to watch. Here's what we do. From 8 p.m. Eastern Time until 9 o'clock. We do the online live show, the pre-show, and then at 9 o'clock, that's where you'd have to jump over to streammedia.tv. Go to streammedia.tv, and that's where you can see this lineup right here. That's where you go to actually watch the Chiller Night programming, Chiller Night Theater, and you'll see 4 episodes tonight. Beginning with City of the Dead. Well, I'll put that schedule back up, of course, throughout the episode. But I'm glad you brought that up, because there might be other new or newer viewers on here who weren't really sure how to watch those. But that's how you do it. You just jump on to streammedia.tv. This is just kind of ringing the dinner bell, letting you know the chiller bell, and letting you know that it's coming. It's coming at 9 o'clock. So Terrence says, "I love that Jack Shadow thinks Plan 9 from Outer Space is a great film." Yeah. I wanted to go that way, because I thought, well, I'm sure everybody, obviously it's so easy to make fun of that movie, and it is a lot of fun to watch, whether you're, but I thought, well, let's have the host not only love it, but everybody else around them in the castle and in the dark domain and in the land of Jack Shadow is afraid to say anything about it, so they all got to tiptoe around and maybe talk directly to the viewers without letting the boss know. So Renee says, "Ava and Samantha, yes, yeah, they've been there for a long time." I met Ava about half a year before we started Sleepy Hollow Theater. I met Ava in October of 2007 in one of my haunted houses, The Dark Domain, back in 2007. So Bonus says, "Brian, you put a lot of hard work and much effort into this, and I just wanted to say thanks for making Saturday nights great again and keeping the spirit of Chilly Billy's Chiller Theater alive." Thank you very much, Bonehead. I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me to hear that, because that's of course my inspiration for doing this. My family and I would gather around on Saturday nights to watch Chiller Theater, and it was just, it's that nostalgia of just that time, it takes me back. It just takes me back. And if it can bring just a shred of that to some of you viewers, who maybe grew up, whatever your favorite horror host was, if you had one, If it can just take you back and kind of nudge the old uh, the old noggin a little bit and bring back some of those happy memories, well, then I guess my job, my work here is done. Uh, Brad says, Happy Mother's Day for all you mothers out there. Yes, yes, indeed. Okay, let's see. Renee's pop, drink, cool. Okay, drinking some pop. Or prop, drink, cool. I thought I read that wrong. I was thinking, okay. I thought maybe that was some Yoda speak, you know. Pop, drink, cool. Prop, drink, cool. Okay, I thought you were drinking pop at home. We were talking earlier about who's drinking what. Okay. Brad says, and then YouTube was acting crazy with copyright infringements. Yeah, oh, they'll get you. They'll get you. Um, let's see. Terrence says, Porta, it's on streammedia.tv. Right, right. Now they had it's at one time they had a Roku channel, and I don't know if there is any plan to revive that. To relaunch that Roku channel. We'll see. I'll find out a little bit more. I've been meaning to get with Luke from Stream TV. I know he's got a ton of things going on. That'd be pretty cool, though. I wonder if that's something that's going to happen. We've got 100 messages already with Restream chat. I've just been notified by Restream, so that's really cool. Actually, that was a while ago because I'm far behind. If I'm missing anybody's comments, I'm very sorry. Jeff says City of the Dead might be my favorite movie you show. Is that right? I like that movie. I really do. That's a neat movie. Kind of got those Psycho vibes to it. Terrence says, Renee Cruz, you can go to the website. Yes, yes. Make sure you go to the website. Speaking of website, I guess it's covered with the balloons, but hey, always got a plan B. Ba-boom. Chillernight.com if you wanna see any more, want to know a little bit more about the show, or if you want to read a little bit more about the show, or at least check out the website, chillernight.com. Used to be Chiller Night Theater, but now everything's kind of going under a Chiller Night umbrella. So that's why I took the theater part out. It's in there, it's included, but it's not all of what Chiller Night is. Chiller Night includes the pre-show also. Let's see. Paul says, May the 4th be with you, right? Yes, for any of you Star Wars fans, of which I am a huge one. And Star Trek. I love Star Trek as well, at least the original. Let's see. Terrence says, Renee, look at the lower left of the screen, streammedia.tv. Yes. Oh, because Renee says, oh, I only have YouTube, so I can't. Yes, you can. Yes, I appreciate you, Terrence, because yeah, anybody with the internet can hop on there and watch the Chiller Night programming on Stream TV beginning at 9 p.m. It's on their site. So just go on there, go to the top of the page and click on Watch Live. So when I first started Chiller Chat, mind you, it looked different. It was just segments in between, segments of the movie, and with the characters doing skits, live bands. We had not live bands, but we had bands playing. Doing. It was weird. We had so much going on, Sleepy Hollow Theater, but Chiller Chat was part of that. Now I told you this show, well, not this show, Chiller Night Theater was inspired by Chiller Theater. Okay. Chiller Chat was inspired by Coast to Coast. That was I thought, well, that would be kind of neat to have paranormal investigators and celebrities and stuff like that on the show, and just chat, Chiller Chat. We jokingly called it Chiller Chat at first, just because I don't know, we thought it was funny. but but we kept it. We kept it. You know, it sounded a little too pleasant, you know, for a chiller or for a horror themed show, but we just kept it at that. But I wanted to show you. This was the opening. This was the opening when I was doing chiller chat a while ago, several years ago. But and it shows some of the guests who I've had on it over the years. So I think it's like a 30-second intro. But here we go. Well, there was an opening. You know, of course, there was Chili Billy on there, Bill Cardell, Tom Savini. I'm sure all you who love horror movies know Tom Savini. Um, John Russo, Russ Stein. There was George Costanza, who played Sheriff McClellan. My mind's kind of just even going blank, trying to remember all the guests that we've had. Jim Crut, the guy who played the helicopter zombie from Dawn of the Dead. We've had a lot of Mass Superstar, a lot of guests over the many years we've been doing this. And then I started doing the virtual set as well. You saw that last one. It was Luscious Rocky Reynolds. Aaron Madden was on there. Terrence says, Brian, there's a new Finnish horror movie that just got released. It's called Hatching. You should check out the trailer on YouTube. Hatching. All right. Sounds like a good one to check out. Tracy says, May the 5th of whiskey. Oh, because of the 4th. May the 4th. May the 5th of whiskey. All right. So, Bonin says, I'm multitasking tonight, watching Chiller Chat on my phone and watching the Penguins game on the TV. Ah, all right. Let's go Penguins. All right, let's see. Tracy says, 5th of Scotch I meant. Ah, well. Whatever floats your boat tonight, I guess, huh? Lasercorn says, feeling the love. Dana said, you should be proud, Brian. Oh, thank you, Dana. I appreciate that. Porta says, I remember years ago asking your wife who plays Jack Shadow on Sleepy Hollow Theater. She said that it was a secret. It was. That was another thing we talked about last week, was for the first 7 years, that wasn't revealed. We didn't reveal it. Here's a weird thing. Believe it or not, like I said, for the first 7 years, we didn't tell anybody. I was interviewed by several, or I had been contacted by several reporters from various newspapers. One wouldn't do an interview with an anonymous source, so I thought, oh boy, if they would only stick to that now, mainstream media. But the anonymous source, and so I said, thank you, I appreciate your interest. Have a good day, basically. And so I gave up that interview because I was so set on that, the showman in me, that's my I don't know, I took that seriously, keeping that identity concealed. And so much that, believe it or not, I'm going to tell you something that's a little hard to believe. Jack still, through all these years, was still working, and I still had my haunted houses running, and doing the show at the same time. Well, there were even actors in the haunted house that were working with me who didn't know who Jack Shadow was. Um, and that's how it was. It's hard. It's impossible to keep that a total secret. Of course, when you're working within a small confines like that, with people who are there with you, almost, as you're changing into this stuff. Um, but yeah, I kept it a very well guarded secret for the first 7 years until 2015. That's when that came out. I never associated my name with Jack Shadow. Never. You never saw my name was only in as part of the production, with the show. It was never, or with Chiller Chat as a host, but it was never. It was always Jack Shadow as himself. So, and that was fun. I have Dark Horse Championship Wrestling too, and I guess in the horror realm that was my kayfabe. That's in character. That's the keeping that mystery. So that was fun. Porta says, "Oh, I just read that part." Okay. Lasercorn says, "Before I forget, he's got a okay. Before I forget." Your metal mission for tonight, if you choose to accept it, is Raining Blood by Slayer. Again, Lasercorn says your metal mission for tonight, if you choose to accept it, is Raining Blood by Slayer. So there you have it. If anybody so dares accept the metal mission for tonight, it's Raining Blood by Slayer. Let's see. Also, same bat time, same bat channel. Yes. Tracy says, like the Lone Ranger. Ah, I was getting into that. We were talking about last week. I wanted to bring this up because something kind of neat happened throughout the week. I was on the Lone Ranger fan club page on Facebook, and I took little snippets of one of the episodes we did back in March, and we were talking about the Lone Ranger in Tano fighting a werewolf. How cool that would be. And I said, I was like, has this ever happened? Well, I put that on that page. I was just like, hey, folks, I think this is an interesting question. I wonder, does anybody know if anything like this has taken place? Well, one of the members on that page, Shane Morton. Shane, if you're watching, thank you for participating and doing that. Now, I noticed that you requested to join the Chiller Night Facebook group page. And now if you are watching this on there, I don't know if I even shared it on that page, but if you are watching it on there, I don't believe you can respond. You have to actually be on the Chiller Night Theater Facebook page. So if you are on here tonight, Shane, I know you'd mentioned you were interested in checking out the show. I appreciate your response there, because Shane had sent me, this is kind of neat. Shane responded to this and sent me, this is what he sent me. This is a page. It's a short, it's only 2 pages long, but it was a short little story from 1973 in Monster Times, issue 24. 1973. It was a story called Werewolf Goes West. And the hero is the Masked Rider. And I think I even said that as I must have seen that name before. The Masked Rider and Faithful Indian Companion. I don't think they actually say the Lone Ranger and Tonto, but that's evidently either them or a spin-off of them. But this is page 2 of that. And the werewolf, before he slices up this lovely woman, is shot down by silver bullets. So, look at that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I appreciate that, Shane. If you're watching, again, thank you for that. And he also sent me a picture. This is artwork by Jolin. I wonder if I'm saying that right. Jolin Yates. And that is a Lone Ranger as a werewolf, and he calls it the Lone Changer. So, pretty cool. Pretty cool response there from Shane Morton. So I appreciate that, Shane. But yes, we were just talking about the Lone Ranger last week. So yes, Tracy, it was me hidden behind the mask there in some ways for 7 years. I wouldn't tell anybody. John says, here's a little note of interest. Born on this day, Japanese director Ishiro Honda, who would direct during his career of 59 years, 44 movies, from The Blue Pearl, Eagle of the Pacific, and certain sci-fi movies, which was the first of the Kaiju movies, I don't know if I'm saying that right, to follow. That film is Godzilla, as well as the other classic movies like Rodan, The Mysterians, a Trigon. Honda would also, or would direct 10 of the Godzilla movies. Wow. More than any other director. It sounds like quite a bit. Wow, that's cool. Born on this day. All right. Very cool. Thanks for sharing that, John. That's right up the chiller alley. You know, horror, sci-fi, and Godzilla is like both of those, certainly. Renee says, the Twilight Zone episode of the Mandela Effects reflects today. Yes, it does. Interesting. And if you don't know what that is, maybe Google that. But yeah, I've seen that topic come up. So that's an interesting one too. Terrence says, Brian, can I bury some bodies in your dungeon? Mine's full. Bring them over. Sure. Plenty of room. There's always room. In Castle Shadow, Renee says, my dad and I used to watch the Lone Ranger serial. Yeah, the serials was cool. The series with Clayton Moore and Jay Silverhills, and then of course John Hart. John Hart took over for a while, and then Clayton Moore came back. So yeah, those were always fun to watch. And then they did have the serials, the movies, the short movies. They had 2 of them before they did the series, the weekly series on TV. So those are kind of worth checking out. You know what I was watching today is, and I'm sorry, I'm going off on the Lone Ranger because I love that stuff. But I watched one of those really crazy cartoons I was talking about earlier today. Those ones back in the 60s. Terrence says, well, the Lone Ranger. Check them out sometime. They're on YouTube. Check them out. They're weird. I love them. Let's see. Glam says, props to Slayer for their longevity. Yeah. That is an accomplishment. That is very, very much an accomplishment for these guys to stick around, or anybody who's stuck around that long in the entertainment business like that. Actors or bands. Oh, Ava just texted me, baby, I can't get on Facebook. Won't allow me to congratulate you. I can't even find Chiller Night. Ah, well, I know that you've congratulated me. You've been with me every step of the way, Ava. So, there she is. There's my baby. I appreciate that, Ava. You know, and Ava's been with this from, like I say, the very beginning, and just I'll just leave that up for. But we're talking about Chiller Night Theater anyway, so yeah, you know, and Ava's hosted some of the shows on her own as well as Aura the Witch, and we've really. We've been at this for a long time, 14 years. And I remember the first night we did this, Ava and I and our, her family members, we all got together at our house, and we were watching. We got some pizza and some drinks and stuff, and we were all watching it together on the local television channel. It was fun. It was so fun. And then I started hearing about groups of like teenagers getting together and watching it. And I said, really? They like the old movies? Oh, no, they're making fun of it. I was like, okay, well, at least they're getting together and watching it and having fun. But I thought that was cool, you know, regardless of how you're you know, whether you're you know, holding the movie up with some degree of reverence, or if you're making fun of it, or if you're, the main point is we meet here where it's fun, you know, and that's what I think is neat for folks my age and older. I would imagine, or you know, within that bracket of you know, time frame there, age wise, I would think that a lot of it is just going back, rolling back to your childhood, to the nostalgia of it. And if you're younger, I can imagine how funny some of these movies are to you. It's 8:43. Let me put the schedule up again. 9 o'clock. Again, remember, up in the upper right hand part of your screen, you see streammedia.tv. That's where you see this. On Stream TV, that's at streammedia.tv. If you're new here or newer and weren't quite sure where to watch the programming, it's not here, it's not online, or not on this channel, but it is at streammedia.tv. Now, with that being said and out of the way, 9 p.m., the movie is City of the Dead. 10:30, the movie is Night of the Blood Beast. 11:45, the movie is Samson versus the Vampire Women. And at 1:30, the movie is Killers from Space. There you have it. That's the lineup for tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Renee says, Tonto and the Lone Ranger were surrounded by the Native American Indians, about ready to be scalped, and Lone Ranger says, "We're going to die," and Tonto says, "What do you mean, we, white man?" I've seen that. I've seen that, a little cartoon of that. Who says we? Let's see. David says, today is the 100th birthday of the late Darren McGavin of Kolchak, the Night Stalker fame. I was just scrolling through the TV last night. I was talking to Ava about that, Kolchak, the Night Stalker. I said, man, I used to watch that. I used to love that show. Let's see. Tom says, the old radio drama, The Lone Ranger, is pretty cool. You should check it out. Though not as good as the Gunsmoke radio shows. Those are the classics. Yeah, the and from the radio show, I'm trying to think of the guy, the guy who voiced the Lone Ranger. One of the guys, the main guy. One of them was killed, and so another one had to take his place. But I'll silver away. You know, when you hear that at the beginning and the opening credits, that's not Clayton Moore. It's not John Hart. They actually used that from the radio show. So thought you'd like to know. But yeah. Let's see. Just scrolling down through. I know I'm so far behind with the chats, and I really appreciate all the interaction. Renee says, yeah, that man that flies up and down in the sky has a robot helmet, and there's a computer electronic component that's on his chest with the buttons up and down. Gamera Flying Turtle. Bajura plays DNA Lounge Tuesday. I'm scrolling back to see what I missed there, but and Renee said Commander Cody. No, I don't know that. I'm aware of some of these, you know. I haven't seen all these shows, but I was thinking, when you said something like, I was thinking of Spectreman, Ultraman, Inframan. Remember those? I used to watch all that stuff. Starman. Tracy says Starman. Okay. The Shadow Knows. Oh, this is fun talking about this stuff. I love that. We should do. We're gonna have a show dedicated to just the old like radio shows, or the old serials and the old series from back in the day. Renee says there was a purple superhero. I think his name is the Phantom. Yeah, the Phantom, played by Billy Zane, and it was weak, huh? it was Billy Zane who played the Phantom when they did that back in the '90s. But yeah, the Phantom had been around in the old comics and the papers and stuff for a long time, very long time. Lasercorn says Starman is very underrated. Renee says there was a Liam Neeson trilogy movie where his skin was like bubbling and stuff. Darkman, remember that? Darkman? Yeah, he had the old top hat and the long coat, and his face was all bubbling and stuff. Tom says, I have the second Commander Cody movie on 16 millimeter called Zombies of the Stratosphere. Ah, that's cool. I love stuff like that. Brian says, Commander Cody. Tom says, I think that was Darkman, Renee. Yes, yep. Tracy says, Batman and Robin, 1943. That was one of the Batman serials. There was another one. And I don't remember if that was before or after that one. I'd have to look that up. But I actually own somewhere in my totes and totes of VHSs and discs or DVDs, both serials, and of course I have the '60s Batman with Adam West and Burt Ward, and you're reminding me of this stuff, with drudging up memories here. Captain Marvel, Tom Tyler. Tom Tyler played Captain Marvel, Shazam. And I mentioned, the connection with the Chiller is Tom Tyler played the Mummy in The Mummy's Hand, Universal. And I mentioned this before too, but they did that creepy effect where they just animated, they darkened, they just like cartooned animated his eyes black. You just see this mummy walking around with his eyes black. And although you can see it's an animated effect, it is just, I love that they did that. I thought that was so creepy. It has a creepy look to it, so it actually worked out pretty well. But check that movie out if you haven't. Do it. There's your Universal monster movie homework for the week if you want to do it. Sheila says, yes, my faves. Ultraman and Space Giants, Goldar, Silvar, and Gam. Okay, I'm not familiar with those ones. Were they some of the monsters he was fighting, or on one of the later shows was that some allies of his? I don't know. I watched the '60s with Hayata and the Beta Capsule and what it was, a space patrol or something. Renee says, I remember the Japanese Starman in the black and white movies. There was two of them. Interesting. Tracy says the Green Hornet. Yeah, I remember the Green Hornet. They had old serials of that, and then later on in the '60s, they had a series, a Keller series. And Bruce Lee, of course, was Kato, and he gained a lot of fame and popularity in the United States playing that character. But yeah, and of course I mentioned this on here. Brett Reed was the Green Hornet. John Reed was Lone Ranger. They are officially supposed to be related. John Reed, the Lone Ranger. That's Brett is his great nephew, something like that. But yeah, he's supposed to be a modern day Lone Ranger. Whether that actually works like that, I don't know. Let's see. Tom says Zombies of the Stratosphere starred a very young Leonard Nimoy playing, wait for it, an alien. I did not know that. It's the first time I'm hearing this. Nobody ran that by me. That's cool. Never heard of that before. Renee says, wow, Tom, awesome. That is awesome. That is pretty cool. Brian says the guy who played Mike the cop on the Abbott and Costello TV show played the Green Hornet in the serials. Is that right? Interesting. Renee says, oh, Bruce Lee is Kato. Right. Yes, Bruce Lee is Kato. I was on a kick one night where I was watching Green Hornet episodes like every night, just now I'm on the Rifleman episode. I'm on like season 4, going through all those episodes. Tracy says, Mr. Spock, Bilbo Baggins. Right. Back in the day. Wow, I'm actually all caught up with the chats. I know, and I'm sorry I missed a lot of chats there trying to keep up. So always appreciate everybody's joining in and your participation. Let's see if I missed anything. I'm sure I missed a lot. Renee's got a little ninja icon emojis with a karate gi with a black belt with Bruce Lee, I'm sure. Um, Renee says Japanese space giants is Ambassador Magma. Okay, I'm not familiar with that, but that's cool. John says the original Ultraman was part of the Science Patrol. Yeah, that was Hayata. I remember that. I remember that well. He had the little, like I said, the beta capsule, and I thought it was. I thought it was kind of cool. Where there was one episode where he was actually human size. There was only one. I only saw that happen once, but he apparently had the ability to either be human size or Godzilla size, which he did all the time. But I mean, there was actually, I guess he apparently had that ability. I thought that was pretty cool. I wanted to share that with you. We're talking about some pretty cool stuff from the past. Johnny Sacco and his flying robot, Renee says. There's a lot of stuff that's drudging up a lot of memory. Now, again, I haven't watched all of this stuff. I haven't watched all of it. I do have a fondness for it because I know I may have seen some of that stuff. Just like westerns. Like I couldn't tell you all the John Wayne movies. He's got too many. He's got way too many. At some point in my life, I'm sure I've seen at least most of them, but I can't sit here and quote dialogue or anything like that, or tell you who played on what, in some instances. But all I know is when I go back my memory, and I'm watching the old westerns or the old chillers, the horror movies, science fiction, Godzilla's. I may not. It takes me back to a place where I have a lot of happiness, a lot of fond memories. And I think I'm always going to have those with those shows, the stuff that I grew up watching, and I suspect that's probably a lot of your experiences as well, especially after reading the comments here. You guys are listing a lot of things that there's a lot of nostalgia here with some of these really old shows. This is fantastic. I love it when we get off onto topics like this. Let's do this all night. Well, we can for another 4 minutes. Then Chiller 19 just I'll put that schedule up here again. We're almost time to put a cap on this particular episode. Brian says, congratulations on 14 years, Brian. Thank you very much, Brian. I appreciate that. Renee says, China's Super Inframan came out on the same day in the movie theaters as Star Wars A New Hope. Do you know, Renee, it's interesting you brought that up. I went to the theater to see Star Wars, and I also remember my mom and dad taking us to go see Inframan, and we went to the drive-in to see Inframan. But I remember seeing that at the theater, or the Super Inframan, yeah. And I remember watching that thinking that was the greatest thing ever, Inframan. And then I saw Star Wars and, that became my greatest thing ever. But I was just blown away by Inframan. And then I watched it again about maybe 3 years ago. And yeah, obviously it's going to have the different effect than, 8, 9-year-old kid watching it. But I had a lot of fun watching it and revisiting those memories. Just like we do when we're watching the Chillers. Brad says, I hope everything with the studio and the set at the Cranberry Mall, everything works out. Yeah, is going well. Yep. Yes, everything. Well, we'll let you. I'll keep you informed of that progress. But hopefully, I'll have more to talk about here soon. And it's 8:57. John says this has been the Chiller Night pre-show celebrating 14 years of horror hosting. This is Crozak the Grand. Reminds you tomorrow is Mother's Day. So as Sean's dad told him, get her the good flowers. Until next Saturday night, stay chilled and keep thrilled. Thank you. Thank you, Crozak the Grand. Everyone's here. Al says happy Mother's Day. Hey, Al, thanks for joining us. Happy Mother's Day. Victor says, I was a total monster kid growing up. Me too. Monsters, superheroes. Let's see. Tracy says, Spider-Man in Japan. Awesome. Metal Heroes, Big Bad Beetleborgs. I'm just reading some of your comments here. This is cool. Glenn says, congrats on your anniversary. Happy Mother's Day. Y'all have a fabulous and safe week. Thank you. Tom says, good night, y'all. See you next week. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. Again, coming up in just 2 minutes, City of the Dead at 9 o'clock, 10:30, Night of the Blood Beast, 11:45, Samson versus the Vampire Woman, and at 1:30, Killers from Space, again at streammedia.tv, streammedia.tv. Thank you, Ava. If you're watching and can't comment, I do want to thank you for being with me through this whole chiller journey. Brenton and Sierra, thank you again for the balloons. It says congratulations, and this is the balloons are 14. The number's 14. So thank you for that. It was very thoughtful, very kind. I appreciate that, and I appreciate all of you joining me, and for the many congratulations that you extended to me during this episode. So have a good night. Have a good chiller night. We'll see you next week.